Hello and welcome to the class. So today we are going to discuss the topic in continuation with our last class, the non-projected teaching aids. So there is a classification of the teaching aids among projected, non-projected, and activity teaching aids. And in the earlier class, we have discussed about the projected teaching aids, and in this class, we are going to discuss about the non-projected teaching aids. And the subject is pedagogy of a school subject, history. The learning objectives for today's class is to classify the types of teaching aids that can be used in the classroom. So we have seen the classification, that how teaching aids are classified in various forms. To understand the importance of utilizing non-projected teaching aids in the class, how we can utilize the non-projected teaching aids. To learn the selection of effective teaching aid during teaching learning process, and to understand to make the learning interesting and permanent among students. So these are all the objectives which need to be completed today in our class. So let us now again take a look at the classification of the teaching aids. As in the earlier class, we have discussed that what is the importance of teaching aids and how it can be utilized in our teaching learning process, and it can make our teaching learning effective in the class. So the classification here is done on the basis of three parts, that is projected aids, non-projected aids, and activity aids. So earlier in our class, we have discussed about the projected aids, which are the projectors, various kinds of projectors, which are being used as a teaching aid. Then there are huge number of non-projected aids, which can be utilized by the teacher in the class, depending on the topic. So the non-projected aids are further divided into four categories, that is graphic aids, display boards, 3D aids, and audio aids. So graphic aids includes all kind of visual material like graphs, diagrams, posters, maps, cartoons, comics, flashcards, pictures and photographs, charts, time chart, time graph, which are an important teaching aid in the subject history. Then the display boards also act as a teaching aid for our subjects, like the blackboard, which is a common thing which is an important part of teachers' tool. Then the roller boards, pegboard, hook and loop board. There are different kinds of boards that can be used. Flannel board, which can be prepared with the use of flannel material. Then there's magnetic board. Then there's plastic board, bulletin board, or the marker boards. So there can be number of boards which can be used for making utilization while using it as teaching aids. Then there are 3D aids, that is the three-dimensional aids. We can see the aids from three angles. These kinds of aids are models. It can be working and non-working models, objects, the real objects, specimens, diorama, which can be created like a scene in simple things. Puppets, make use of puppets. Globes, so this is how they can be used. Then there are certain audio aids like radio, tape recorder, or the public address system. Nowadays we can make use of mobile phones as audio aids also. So audio aids are the instructional devices through which message can only be heard. So it is said that we spend 50% of time in hearing, and this shows the importance of audio media in our life. And therefore, it is necessary for us to understand the importance of audio aids and their application in our teaching learning process. Then there are activity aids, which can be used as non-projected aids only, which are the field trips or going on any educational excursions. These also helps in our teaching support material. Then the showcasing of any exhibitions on different themes, demonstration of showing various things or demonstration method being used in the class, dramatization or the role playing things which can be used as an activity aid, Museum can be prepared with the help of students and teachers. Visit to planetariums or a planetarium in our institution, aquarium, terrarium, vivarium, teaching machines, programmed learning methods, or the computer aided instructions, where we make use of computers for giving instructions. So this is how a classification can be done for our teaching learning material or teaching aids. First of all, we will talk about the blackboard. The teacher can illustrate his or her lesson with the help of blackboard. The lesson can develop and can be summarized in the right manner when you write the important points on the blackboard. Questions and various problems can be solved on the blackboard. Pupils' interest in classwork can be stimulated with the help of blackboard. So there is a blackboard skill which you as a teacher trainee learn in the micro teaching phase, where you learn that how to make maximum utilization of blackboard as a teaching aid. It provides a lot of space for decorative and creative work, where you can draw a diagram, you can classify, you can create something or decorate the blackboard in your own way. So a teacher can review the whole lesson with the help of a blackboard, which nowadays can be a green board or a whiteboard. But basically, in the older times, it was painted as black, and on which we used to make use of white chalks or other colored chalks. So that is how blackboard is used. These are the fixed blackboards, which are there fixed on the wall. And nowadays, in many institutions or many schools, there are both combination of whiteboards and blackboards. Whiteboards are sometimes used with the help of markers, and sometimes it can be used for projecting various kinds of things, so that proper kind of showcasing projection can be done. This is also kind of a blackboard. This is a moving blackboard that is on easel on a certain area, where these kind of blackboards can be taken and made use of, where the blackboards are not fixed on the boards. These kind of blackboards can be used. Then these are the roller blackboards or the whiteboards, which are generally used while making use in practice teaching by you teachers, trainees. And you can roll it and carry it whenever you want. You can make use of it on both the sides. You can write down, where we make use mostly in our teaching practice is where you can write down the questions, evaluation questions on the roller boards, or you can write down the developing questions on the roller boards and you can ask them in the class. Then these are the magnetic boards. You can make use of magnetic items to be pasted on these kind of boards. And this is how you can take out and make use of many magnetic items on this board. So this will be very helpful as a teaching aid in the class. So these are certain points which need to be remembered while the blackboard is being used in the class. Blackboard always should be kept clean. So this is the basic rule which everyone should take care of, that whenever a teacher leaves the class and whenever a new teacher enters in the class, the blackboard should be cleaned. It should be wiped out clean of any content. Writing on the blackboard should always be legible. So the writing part is very important. All the teacher trainees are taught that how to write on the blackboard, make maximum utilization of blackboard, how to organize material on the blackboard, and how to improve their blackboard writing. Letters and drawings should be large enough to be seen from all parts of the room. So in a classroom where the student who is sitting at the back side of the classroom should also be able to see the letters which you have written on the blackboard or whatever diagrams or labeling you have done. So it should be large enough. The letters which you write on the blackboard should be large enough. Writing should be started from top left corner. Yes, from the top left corner, you need to start using the blackboard. So if a blackboard is very much large, which is placed in your classroom, so you must know how to divide it into different parts and make use of that blackboard. So writing should be in straight rows. This is the feedback which the supervisors generally give to their students, that they should try to write every time on the blackboard. They should make use of writing on blackboard every time, because without that your class will not be complete. So it is very important to know that you shall always write on the blackboard in a straight row. It should not go in the downwards. The writing should not go in downwards or the upwards. So material on the blackboard should not be covered by standing in front of it. So this is the basic thing which we teach the teacher trainees, that they should try to stand aside after writing on the blackboard. And while writing on the blackboard, they should maintain the 45-degree angle so that they can take a look at this class also. They could keep an eye on the class, the withitness concept which we have discussed earlier in the class, that you are aware whatever is going on in the class. Only salient points of subject matter should be written on the blackboard. So if you have blackboard available in your class, it does not mean that it is the whole and sole teaching aid for you. So you will write down each and every word on the blackboard. Blackboard should be utilized for highlighting the important points. Whatever you want to highlight, you want your class to remember, or you want your class to participate on the writing, whatever you are writing on the blackboard. So important points should only be mentioned in the blackboard, on the blackboard. So extreme lower corner of blackboard should not be made use of as writing on it. So this should be avoided, that we should also maintain certain margins while writing on the blackboard, so that the extreme lower corner of blackboard, you should not make use of writing on that. If the students have wrote down the important points or looked at the important points, you can rub it off and try to write on the upper part. So it should be ensured that blackboard is well lit by natural or artificial means. So there should not be darkness over the blackboard. Whatever you are writing, the lighting part should be such in the class that it should be well lit, and the students are able to ensure whatever is written on the blackboard they can see. Teachers should ensure that the class is attentive while writing on the blackboard. So this we have discussed that students need to see that teacher need to see that the class is attentive while they are writing on the blackboard. Occasionally, students may be asked to write or draw diagram on the blackboard. So with this, we can make use of stimulus variation skill. We can ask the students to interact and participate actively or in all kinds of activities. So they also know that they could be called upon, they should be alert and concentrate on the topic which you are teaching. So you can ask them to write the answer, come on the blackboard and write the answer. So they will not feel hesitant, they will be confident enough, they will sometimes feel pride that they have been called upon. So this is how the strategies could be used in the class. Everything required for the blackboard should be got together before the class begins. So whatever you need to write on the blackboard, whatever you need to present on the blackboard, it should be earlier planned by you, that what things you will show on the blackboard. You can make use of colored chalks also on the blackboard. What words will you be highlighting on the blackboard? How you will mentioning the bullet points. The duster should be used for rubbing off the material on the blackboard, and your hand or any kind of handkerchief. This is not a proper way to make use of blackboard. Teachers should develop the ability to draw freely on the blackboard. So this is a skill which you need to learn, that how to make proper use of blackboard. And for this, you should know that how freely you can maximum utilization can be done by you of the blackboard. These are the bulletin boards, which can also be used as a teaching aid in your classes. And for this, you can mention the material or prepared by the students or the teachers, or the notices which can be mentioned there, or the instructions. So through that, you can make utilization of bulletin boards. So these are the principles for using the bulletin boards. The contents of the board should be organized around a central theme of content. So whenever any things are presented on the bulletin board, it should have a central theme. we teach our students how to prepare a bulletin board, and every week we try to ask them that what kind of materials could be prepared by them. They form a group, and on the basis of that, semester wise, they try to prepare materials based on a certain theme. So material should be dated to ensure that it does not remain no longer than desired. So like I have discussed that we give a time of 1 week or 15 days the material to be displayed on bulletin board. So like this, there should be a certain time limit for how much time. For example, you are trying to making aware the students about the Women's Day. Women's Day is coming in March, and for that you want to aware your students, and this is the theme. The women empowerment is the theme which you want your students to prepare material on. So when the Women's Day has been celebrated and you have celebrated it for a 1 month or 15 days, after that theme should be removed and another new theme should be used, so that there is a circulation of the material, new material on the bulletin board. The appearance should be neat, orderly, and attractive. So whatever material you have been putting up on the bulletin board should look neat while presenting it. It should be in an orderly manner, and it should be attractive or colorfully used. Material should be changed frequently and systematically. So this is how I have told you that frequently this should be done while starting of the session. The planning could be done. That's how the students will do it. And for this, we teach our teacher trainees also that how to make utilization of bulletin board. The contributions should be well labeled. So you can write down your name in at the bottom, so that everyone knows that this material has been prepared by such and such student. So the contribution should be well labeled while displaying on the bulletin board. Student contributions should be encouraged and used. So this is not the use of bulletin board is not used entirely by the teacher. It can can be used as an activity aid. It can be used by actively involving the students. So the students, the contributions of the students should be encouraged and used on the bulletin board. Responsibility for editing the board should be placed on one person. Appoint a bulletin board committee to provide material. So this is how they will learn how to work in groups, and this is in this way they can prepare a committee in which materials can be provided. So everyone should be held responsible for reading and knowing what is on the board. For this, a certain class can be utilized, or a certain report can be asked to be prepared, that whatever has been displayed on the bulletin board, everyone should go and read. And in spite of any other classes or other sections can be asked, other teachers can also be asked to read and know, so that there are certain things which can be appreciated. So all material should be appropriately classified and labeled for future reference. So whenever you take off the material from the bulletin board, it should be kept in storage, well prepared and appropriately classified and labeled, so that it can be used in future reference also. An interval of a day or two should be allowed to elapse, during which the board is left bare, in order to stimulate interest. So this is one of the strategy which we also follow, and you can also follow, that if there is a slogan left on the board, or it is a habit of all the students to regularly see the bulletin board uh, filled with all kinds of materials which the students have prepared, and if it is left bare for a few days, it will stimulate interest what next is coming up on the board. So they will this will also stimulate interest. What is the purpose of bulletin board? It motivates the learner. It broadens the sensory experience of the learner. It intensifies the impressions and it vitalizes the instruction part. It adds variety to the classroom activity. It is a different kind of activity. The bulletin board can be placed in the classroom itself, or it can be outside in the galleries in the institution. It provides information. Yes, many informations can be given through just bulletin boards. It supplements and correlate your instructions, what you want to inculcate in your students. And it also saves time. The subjects which you don't want to discuss much in the classes can be taught with the help of bulletin boards also. These are the flannel boards. Kind of a material is used on this board, and this is how you can paste certain materials on the board. This will be very much effective. Purposes of flannel board. It captures and holds attention of students. Materials displayed can be removed easily. The students can construct and reconstruct the concepts visually. So these are the guidelines for presentation with the flannel board. An introduction has to be given to the group before displaying flannel board. Just plan the layout, keeping in view the principles of teaching. Arrange the materials in such a way that they lend themselves best to illustrate the content to be delivered. Try the layout before displaying any kind of thing on the flannel board, that it fits the space on the flannel board. Place the flannel board at eye level and at a slightly inclined angle. So any kind of reflection should not be there, and the students should be able to visualize everything. So lighting should also be checked. Use a minimum number of objects so that it is not crowded, the board does not become crowded. Talk to the class as much as possible, but not to the board. So while simply putting things on the flannel board, just do not keep on going on talking. You have to face the class also, you have to interact with the class also. Remove the cutouts from the board as soon as the explanation of that concept is completed, and place the next cutouts in position. So when your work is complete, when your explanation is complete, you can move out the first cutout and just place the next cutout for another explanation. Now the next kind of non-projected aids are the posters. So various kinds of posters can be used for making use of any kind of teaching aid, and like the parts of the body or any kind of social poster or any kind of posters you have prepared. There are certain apps available on the internet in which you can prepare posters also. So it is easy for you to prepare posters, as well as you can ask your students also to prepare posters. And these are basically educational apps which allows, for example, you ask your students to prepare a poster on healthy habits. So they will try to find out how they can best present their poster, how the healthy habits can be shown on a poster, and that can be easily done with the help of a computer and internet. Then the next non-projected aids are the flashcards. So flash means a small amount of time. So these are the guidelines which need to be used while making use of flashcards. That is, selection of topic and the content to be displayed should be carefully planned. Illustrations in the flashcards should be simple. Whatever you want to show on the flashcards, it should be simple. The number of cards should not exceed 10 to 12. So this need to be kept in mind, that not more than 10 to 12 flashcards to be used. The size of the group should not be more than 40, because for that you have to prepare, manage your classroom in a certain semicircle way so that all students are able to see your flashcards. Arrange the cards in the proper sequence. So there is no haphazard, teaching in the class. You know that after what you have to show what kind of card. So it should be arranged in a proper sequence before coming into the class. A brief introduction of the topic should be given in the group before displaying of the flashcards. So before you are displaying the flashcards, before you are showing the material to the students, you should first of all try to give brief introduction of the topic so that the students know what they are going to see, and they will try to grasp the knowledge which you are going to show. Because these are the flashcards, and these are very small in size, this will be shown to the students. So you should try to make more and more contact with the students by using flashcards, and try to make your topic more interactive. So display the cards in congruent with the content. It should not be other than the content you are showing on the flashcards. Hold the cards and turn towards different parts of the group, and ensure it viewed by all members in the group. So you should try to show like this in front of the students. You are not holding in front of you, you are trying to show to the students. So you should ensure that it is viewed by all members in your class. Significance points should be pointed out. For this, you can just prepare a holding material and you can just show them like this. So the main points that could be pointed out on the flashcards by doing this. Look at the cards while the concept is explained from the cards. So you can just go and look at the flashcards while showing and explaining this. Involve the audience in discussion. So just for the sake of teaching aid, you cannot just make use of flashcards because it will take a lot of time of the teacher. So you are trying to utilize the time, you are trying to explain the concept. So you should try to involve the audience also while discussing through the flashcards. Now the next non-projected aid is the cartoons. So this is how a cartoon can show a very important topic. Like in this cartoon, we can see that the trees are, displaced and the buildings are being prepared. So instead of trees, the buildings are planted on our earth. So that means that we are, uh, giving a setback to our environment, and how we are not understanding the importance of planting of trees, how we are displacing them just to make place for the towering buildings. So these kind of small concepts can also be shown with the help of cartoons. This is very helpful, and the students also take interest because they find these kind of colorful animated things more interesting. So like this is a satire on the political system, how the politicians are carrying out the works. So a cartoon can also be prepared with the help of online tools. Various kinds of online tools are freely available for teachers and also as well as the students. So the cartoon should be suitable to the level of students. We cannot show them anything which is not according to their mental level. Cartoons should be prepared according to the educational objectives and the background of students. The writing and graphics, which you have mentioned on the cartoon, should be meaningful. Cartoon should be of adequate size. So whatever it should be, like a flashcard, you need to prepare a cartoon. And you can also show them through projectors also. Symbols used in the cartoon should be clear and understandable. So not any kind of controversial subject should be used on the cartoon. Cartoons need to be both amusing and instructive. So they should be amusing for the students because they take interest in cartoons. They like watching cartoons also. They like watching animations. But it should give instruction also. It should be useful for the students. So students' involvement should be there. Now we will talk about another non-projective aid, that is the puppets. So various kinds of puppets can be used, like these are the types of puppets which can be used in the class. And for younger students in primary classes, these kinds of puppets are used, like the carnival or the body puppet, the chin face puppet, finger puppets we can use, hand or gloves puppets, string puppets, or the shadow puppets. Like this we perform on the wall by just showing through the shadows. So this is the black light puppet. This is how we can make use of showing any kind of drama on the stage. These are the carnivals or the body puppets by utilizing or making use of these kinds of puppets. Finger puppets, by wearing these on the puppets, you can do that. These are the hands or glove puppets. By this, the students will also learn how to do this, and the teachers can also make use of these puppets to teach students. These are the string puppets. These are attached with the strings, and through this we very much know the Katputli thing which you can do in the class, and there in various subjects it can be used. These are the shadow puppets. Through shadows we are trying to teach, making use of puppets. in the class. These are the animation or the digital puppets which you can prepare with the help of various apps which are available online. So these are the purposes of puppets. It develops communication skills. It teaches emotions. With the help of puppets, we can do everything. We can tell a story. We can tell an interesting and inspiring story to the students. So we can teach emotions also. It helps for the development of fine motor skills, and especially in the subject of history, we can make use of puppets for telling any kind of story, because historically, when the events have to be told to the students, it is only merely based on the abstract thinking, and with the help of small, simple puppets, we can tell them everything in detail. So it helps in the promotion of imaginative skills. Then it motivates and supports children with difficulties who are not able to communicate or who are not able to interact properly. Development of social skills. They will try to, enjoy everything with their peer groups, or they will try to prepare any kind of dramas with the help of puppets. They will try to, show the dramas in the with the use of puppets in front of the whole class. So it may be interesting for some students who are not active in other activities. Now, the next teaching aid could be handouts. And handouts are the written notes which can be produced by the teacher to the students. And the use of handouts are, it is directly related to the lesson content. So when a teacher wants their students to learn more and more about the extra information regarding any content, they can prepare handouts. It can be written, it can be printed, it can be photocopied. So as an information sheet, it presents complex, rare, or hard to find information. So whatever is available in your textbooks or in any kind of internet material, so it is not useful for the students. The things which are hard to find information and which should always be with the students, and it will be helpful for them. So that could be work as an information sheet for them. As a reading list for extra information you are providing them. It can be provided in the form of worksheet, quiz sheet, performa, or workbook. So for the practice part, you can make use of handouts. It can be a permanent source of reference. So whenever the student want to study that subject or that content, they can go through that notes, and that will be very helpful for them. So they don't have to wait for the class to happen, or they don't have to ask anyone out. They just go through those handouts. They have to, you need to teach them how to, organize and store the handouts properly, subject wise, by through proper reference, and so it can help in their permanent referencing. These are the guidelines for preparing handout. It should be typed if your handwriting is not good, and at least 12-point font should be used so that it can be easily read out. Use headings properly, page number consistently. If there are many handouts, print pages, you should write proper page numbers on that, so that it is not mixed up. The students do not know what you are going to present. Use bullet points rather than continuous sentence, so that they know that important information is given in bullet forms. Make good use of space. Do not try to waste the page. Keep lines left justified with the ragged right edge. So for that, editing part should be proper. Avoid excessive use of capital letters and underlining. So this depends on teacher how they want to provide the information. Leave plenty of space between the columns of text, so that nothing is just looks congested. Avoid starting a sentence at the end of a line. So by these proper guidelines, you can prepare a very good handout. These are the pamphlets, the tips to quit smoking. So for like this, various kinds of pamphlets can be prepared by students and also the teachers, and this can also be done with the help of various apps available online. These are the leaflets, small booklets. It is a small book, usually having a paper cover. So for telling them small things, small things, how to develop good study habits, how to manage your time, these kind of leaflets can be prepared. So the advantages are the printed material has a high degree of acceptance, credibility, and prestige. So students will always take care of these kind of things. They like different kind of activities which are other than teaching process. Printed matter is unique in that it can be passed from person to person without distortion. So whatever you have printed in the leaflets or given your material in the leaflets, it will not be distorted, not be different from the material which you have already provided. It is permanent and the message will not change unless it is physically altered. So this depends on the storage ability of the students. It can be reread for reinforcement. So such things can be used in the leaflets which the students need often, like managing the time or maintaining good habits, or in the current times we can give the corona guidelines. Complex and lengthy material can be explained in detail. So if there is any complex material, it can be details can be given in that. These are the various activity aids like the demonstration, field trip, program instruction, exhibition, aquarium, vivarium, terrarium, computer assisted instruction, or the CAI. This is how demonstrations can be done and shown to the students in various kinds of subjects. This is the field trips or excursion. So the areas of interest where the students can be taken. The history students can be taken to show any kind of historical monument where they will be able to visually really experience those kind of things and prepare a report on that. So that will be a good teaching aid. Aquariums can be made use of for showing different species. These are the vivarium and aquarium are mostly used in the science subjects. Terrarium also used in science subjects, but it can be used in geography also. Then there are charts, and charts can be prepared as non-projected aids. This is a very common type of teaching aid which is prepared by the teacher trainees. It shows relationship by means of facts, figures, and statistics. It presents material symbolically. It summarizes information. It shows continuity in progress. It presents abstract ideas in visual form. It shows development of structure. It creates problems and stimulate thinking. It encourages utilization of other media of communication. It motivates the students. The size of the chart should also be taken care of, like 20 into 30 inches chart should be used. The size of the letters should be properly written, like the title should be 2.5 inches. There should be a subtitle and headings which should be 1 and 1/3 inches. There should be space between lines. So everything which you prepare as a teaching aid had certain guidelines, and then only you will be able to prepare an effective teaching aid. These are the various kinds of charts. When you get confused that what kind of chart we can prepare in the subject like history, so you can prepare number of charts like narrative chart, tabulation chart, cause and effect chart, chain chart, time chart, pictorial chart, or flow chart. Various kinds of chart can be used. It depends on your imagination in your innovation. So narrative chart is left to right arrangement of facts and idea for expressing the events in a process, like this. Left to right, the things are shown like this. This is the tabulation chart where you have to make comparison in the form of table. You can prepare a chart. These are the cause and effect chart. Genetic factor leads to smoking. Smoking leads to tar. Formation of tar. Tar leads to cancer. So these are the cause and effect chart. So this can be done by while preparing this in history, the cause and effects of the various kinds of wars which took place, or what kind of religious or social movements which took place. These kind of charts can be prepared. Chain chart, how everything is dependent on each other. So this kind of chain charts can be prepared. Time chart. So time charts is very important for the subject history. The time chart is used for showing the sequence of time. So this is what we show in history chronologically. All the happenings which has been relevant to the development of a process, certain organization, certain institution, or certain kind of dynasty, or any problem. So in this way, we can prepare timelines horizontally or vertically, and we can specifically mention the scale on which we want to show. Like here, only 1 year gap is presented. We can show the 5 years or 10 years gap, and this is how the material is written. So in this way, the student can go on repeating these timelines, and they will learn very easily that at what time what event happened. So in this way, that history teacher should try to teach every topic. There should be timeline for every topic. Like this, what kind of age was prehistory, at what time it was prehistory, and what time we call it history as, and how this period has been covered, what name has been given, what important events had happened. So like this, we can paste pictures also. So we can do it on online, or we can prepare with the help of charts. These are the flow charts. What happened first, then what, then in the sequential manner, in chronological order. This can go from upward to downward, or downward to upward. Graphs are the flat pictures which employs dots, lines, or pictures to visualize numerical and statistical data to show relationships or statistics. So this can also be done in history if one wants to innovate. These are the types of graphs, like line graph, bar graph, pie graph, column graph, surface graph. We have to make comparison between two wars, First World War and Second World War. So for that, we can make use of graphs very well, and it can be done with the help of MS Excel on computer. So a use of ICT can be taken help of while preparing graphs. So these are the various kinds of types of graphs: the bar graphs, the line graphs, the pie charts, how many people have selected this, how many percentage you can show this, or the pictograph. Then these are the column graphs. This can also be prepared very easily. Surface graphs. These are the maps. These are the most important part of history, and without this, we cannot say that teachers may be able to teach effectively in their class. So for every location, they should have prepared a map, whether they are showing it on a globe, or through projectors, or through real maps in the classroom. So these are the types of maps which can be used, like relief maps, historical maps, distribution maps, or the geographical maps. So these are the various kinds of maps which can be used, and you can specially mark areas where you want to show while teaching in the classroom on that day. Models is a three-dimensional representation of a real thing. This is how 3D models can be prepared. It simplifies reality. It gives a concrete concept to an abstract concept, which we are only imagining in our mind. It gives concrete aspect to that. A model enables the reduce or enlarge objects to an observable size, so we can observe better in big size. A working model will secure immediate attention, and it will serve as motivation to learn. These are the dioramas which are prepared in a glass. A scene is depicted. Real objects can also be used and brought in the class, like when you are teaching about the epics, the Hindu scriptures. You can bring in the class Gita, Mahabharat, Ramayana, or the Vedas. If you have available them with you anywhere, you can borrow from anywhere, or you have in your house, or you have in the library. So you can do that. These are the specimens. Specimen is more of a use in the subject science. So this is how we today learned about using of various kinds of teaching aids, especially the non-projected teaching aids in our classrooms. And in the classroom of history, various kinds of teaching aids can be used. This depends on the knowledge, the variety of, the ability to use these kinds of teaching aids in our classes. So we should be aware of various kinds of teaching aids, the various types of classification of teaching aids. And for this, you can refer to these websites where you will find various kinds of teaching aids, and you will also learn how to use them, prepare them in an easy way, and also there are guidelines or the precautions which need to be taken while using these kind of teaching aids. So now we will move on to our next section, that is evaluation questions. And question number 1 is, chalkboard is a kind of dash aid. The options are audiovisual, visual, projected, or audio. And the correct answer is visual. It is not audiovisual, it is not projected aid, it is not audio aid, but yes, it is a visual aid which we can see. Next question is, educational radio is, options are visual aid, audiovisual aid, print media, non-print media. So here the correct answer is, it is non-print media or the audio aid, on which various kinds of programs are regulated by the government, and they are broadcasted on the radio, and which can be made available to the students, or you can put the radio in the class and start and make your students hear that topic, because there is a schedule ahead which is being made available by the government earlier on the websites or through any kind of mode, and the teachers know that what kind of program will be telecasted at that time, broadcasted at that time. So the student should be ready with that, and they will be able to know about the frequency at which this program comes. So at this time of point when every student is not able to learn or attend online classes, educational radios are the best teaching aids. Next question is, which of the following is an example of audio aid? Linguaphone, maps, epidioscope, or flashcards? So linguaphone is a kind of a language phone where you improve your vocabulary. So it is a kind of a audio aid. Next question is, which of the following is not the type of chart? So with this we have discussed the types of chart. The options are narrative chart, tabulation chart, cause and effect chart, or relay chart. So the wrong answer is relay chart. It is not any kind of chart which we have discussed. The next question is, the number of flashcards should not exceed. So there is a certain limit to the use of flashcards. So the options are 10 to 12, 15 to 20, 25 to 30, 35 to 40. And the correct answer is 10 to 12. So not more than 10 to 12 flashcards should be used in a class. Next question is, which of the following is not appropriate teaching aid to be used in subject history? Options are timeline, time graph, time chart, or specimen. So this we have discussed that timeline, time graph, and time chart are very important teaching aids while teaching history, and specimen is not very appropriate every time while we teach history. Question number 7 is, dash need to be both amusing and instructive. What need to be amusing and instructive? The options are models, cartoon, chart, or specimen. So out of these, we can see that cartoons are the most amusing, enjoyable things which the students enjoy while watching them or seeing them. So this can give a very good, message to them. So this need to be instructive as well as amusing. So the correct answer is cartoon. Question number 8 is, teachers use teaching aids for. Options are making teaching interesting, teaching assisting understanding level of students, making student attentive, the sake of its use. So why do teachers use teaching aids? The first 3 options are very much right, and the sake of its use is the wrong one, because teaching aids have various kinds of advantages. This we have discussed. So the teaching aids are used for teaching aids is the teaching assisting understanding level of students. Which of the following is not the classification of teaching aids? The options are visual aids, audio visual aids, or ground aids. So out of these options, we can find out clearly that the ground aids not any kind of option in the classification of teaching aids. Question number 10 is, a dash is anything used by a teacher to help teach a lesson or make it more interesting to students. The options are chalk, rollerboard, teaching aid, or playground. So the correct answer is teaching aid. So teaching aid is something which is used by a teacher, which helps in development of lesson, organization of lesson, effectiveness of lesson, summarizing the lesson, and it makes more interesting to the students. So with this, we come to the end of the class. Thank you very much, and we will see you in the next class.